Again, let's step into the sacred realm of the perspective, where we unravel the divine mysteries. Hey, I'm Stanley Sam, your host for insightful exploration into God and the timeless wisdom of the Bible. The inquiry into the existence of God has been a perennial quest within the realm of philosophy, spanning centuries and involving the minds of diverse thinkers. In this episode, we will delve into the philosophical foundations of the God's existence, examining three influential arguments: the cosmological, teleological, and ontological arguments. Our journey will be guided by the insights of renowned philosophers such as Aristotle, Aquinas, and Descartes. Additionally, we will investigate the relationship between these philosophical perspectives and the concept of the biblical God, leading us towards an understanding of how these arguments contribute to the narrative of faith and ultimately to the figure of Jesus. The cosmological argument, rooted in the principles of causality and motion, seeks to elucidate the existence of God by positing the necessity of a first cause, an uncaused cause. Aristotle, an ancient Greek philosopher, laid the groundwork for this argument with his concept of the unmoved mover. According to Aristotle, everything in the universe is in a state of motion and change, prompting the need for an uncaused cause to initiate this cosmic motion. This notion of an uncaused cause aligns with the biblical understanding of God as revealed in the book of Exodus, where God identifies himself as "I am who I am." You can read that in Exodus 3 verses 14. So, this declaration emphasizes the eternal and self-existent nature of God, resonating with the cosmological argument's assertion of an uncaused cause as the prime mover of the universe. The teleological argument, often referred to as the argument from design, invites contemplation on the order, complexity, and purpose observed in the natural world. Thomas Aquinas, a medieval philosopher and theologian, contributed significantly to this argument. He proposed that the intricate design and the purpose evident in the natural world implied the existence of an intelligent designer, an assertion deeply embedded in the teleological argument. This argument finds resonance in the Psalms of the Bible, where Psalms 19 verses 1 declares, "The heaven declares the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands." This biblical affirmation aligns with the teleological argument, emphasizing God as the ultimate designer and creator of the universe. In contrast to empirical observations, the ontological argument dwells into the nature of God's existence through reason and abstract thought. Saint Anselm of Canterbury and René Descartes are prominent figures associated with this argument. Anselm's concept of God as that than which nothing greater can be conceived sets the stage, arguing that the very idea of a perfect God implies existence. Descartes builds on this by asserting that the innate idea of a perfect God within humans must originate from an existing perfect being. The Bible, particularly in Matthew 5 verses 40, it reflects the idea of a perfect God. "Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect." This biblical verse aligns with the ontological argument's premise of a perfect being and the inherent connection between the idea of God's perfection and his existence. While these philosophical arguments provide a rational foundation for belief in a divine being, they do not inherently lead us to God described in the Bible. However, examining the logical connections between these arguments and the biblical narrative unveils intriguing parallels. Well, the uncaused cause, proposed by the cosmological arguments, finds resonance in the Bible's depiction of God as the eternal and uncreated creator. Genesis 1 verses 1 states, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth," aligning with the cosmological arguments' emphasis on God as the first cause. The teleological arguments focus on design aligns with the biblical emphasis on God as a purposeful creator. Genesis 1 verses 31 asserts, "God saw all that he had made, and it was very good." reinforcing the teleological argument's assertion of an intentional and purposeful designer. The concept of God's perfection in the ontological argument resonates with the Bible's portrayal of God's attributes. Matthew 5 verses 48's call to perfection aligns with the ontological argument's emphasis on a perfect and existing God. The transition from abstract philosophical notions to God described in the Bible is a significant step. The transition involves elements of faith, religious experiences, and revelation. For Christians, this path leads to Jesus, who is considered the incarnation of the biblical God. The Bible makes this connection explicit in the Gospel of John, where Jesus declares, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." John 14 verses 6. This verse underscores the unique role of Jesus as the path to the Father, solidifying the connection between the philosophical foundation of God's existence and the Christian understanding of Jesus. In conclusion, the philosophical foundation of God's existence, as articulated by Aristotle, Aquinas, and Descartes, provide a rational framework for belief in a divine being. The logical connections between these philosophical arguments and the biblical narratives reveals intriguing parallels, showcasing how philosophical reasoning has influenced and complemented religious beliefs. While philosophy alone may not conclusively prove the existence of the biblical God, it provides a robust foundation that resonates with many aspects of Christian theology. The Bible, with its teachings and the life of Jesus, serves as a guide along this intellectual and spiritual journey, culminating in the belief that Jesus is the way to the Father. This intricate interplay between philosophy and faith underscores the richness of human exploration into the divine. Again, thank you for joining. We see you in the next episode of The Perspective. Till then, stay tuned.